And I think we're live.
Woohoo.
Hey, everybody, it's Katie here with another episode of Live and Learn. And I'm always really excited because we have such great guests all the time. I love this show so much. I love the ability to share. We have some just incredible members in our group, and today we have another incredible member on the show today. But I just love the ability to share the knowledge and the skill set from all of our incredible members with our other incredible members. So this always makes me really, really stoked to chat with somebody who is a member of MOMnation. Hello, Leanne. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Of course, welcome. And she, right beside her is her, sorry, James, her right-hand man, James. And together they own Advanced Custom Renovation. So welcome, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And you are based in the Phoenix area, correct?
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell us just a little bit about Advanced Custom Renovation so that we have some background knowledge before we hop into your tips here.
So we specialize in interior renovations with a specialty on flooring and bathroom renovations.
Awesome. And you're quite busy right now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, anybody half decent is busy right now.
Yeah. So what are you seeing a lot of? Are you seeing a lot of people that are purchasing new homes that are wanting to renovate? Are they renovating to sell? Are they renovating just because everybody spent a whole year cooped up in their house for COVID and they're like, these things need to change? What's the majority of what you're seeing out there right now?
There was a period where it was a lot of refinances. And then now it's kind of like, because there's so little stock, instead of people like purchasing new, they're kind of updating their existing, and we're running into a lot of that. And so, it's cool. So not only are they able to pull out equity of their house, but they're also, finding good reasons to, renovate
Yeah.
versus, possibly just going and buying a brand new home, you know what I mean? So that's beneficial.
Do you think that they're doing that because they spent a year cooped up in their house and they decided lots of things need to change, or because, let's not sugarcoat it. It's not easy to get a house out there right now.
Yeah, no. That's right. Exactly. And, the pandemic definitely put it into hyperdrive because I think everybody was bored sitting at home and nowhere else to spend their money, and they're stuck there, so they might as well make it what they want.
Yeah.
And I've also noticed people are putting walls up where they were taking them down because they need the noise cancellation, because the kids are home.
Right, and more people are working from home kind of permanently now, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little interesting twist, isn't it? Thank you, 2020.
Yeah.
So you have
been a year and a half.
Yeah. Seriously. So you have a couple of tips for us today, and I'm excited to dive into this because our businesses kind of go hand in hand, right? So I'm a real estate broker in the Phoenix area. You guys are licensed contractors. We deal with each other a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
That's right.
Or our businesses rather definitely deal with each other a lot. Yeah. So I'm sure that I'm going to learn something new today, and I'm excited to start talking about some of the things that you wanted to chat about because we're actually considering doing some things ourselves. So I'm like, well, today's a perfect day to get some tips from James and Leanne. So you have some tips and kind of some guidance on how to order flooring or how to choose flooring for your particular lifestyle, right? Yes. You probably guide a ton of clients through that. Right. And I think that's a really important thing because let's face it, especially if you're doing the entire house, like that's an enormous investment. So you want to make the right choice.
Right, that's right.
You don't want to hate it later. So when you're guiding your clients and when you are meeting with your clients before they make a decision as far as, what material they're going to get and that kind of thing, what tips and tricks are you sharing with them?
So we try to guide them in a couple different aspects. One is, what are you trying to accomplish? Is it just durability? Is it comfort? You know, so like one thing is some people like tile can be a little bit hard on their feet, you know, and they might have low back issues. So one thing that's really popular right now is the luxury vinyl plank, because it's a floating floor. It's got some give to it, which is easier on people's backs. Plus it's super durable and it's waterproof. So if somebody's got like a pool just outside where they're wanting to put their floor, they would want a waterproof product for that area. And then, you know, another thing is trying to like help them navigate how to not eat up equity in remodel. That doesn't make sense, you know. So in Arizona, it's cheaper to build up than it is to build out.
Right.
And so, you know, sometimes it doesn't make economical sense to put hard surface flooring upstairs and down because it's expensive. And, you know, usually maybe doing the traffic areas like the stairs, the hallway, carpet the bedrooms. So that way you're not eating up equity in remodel that doesn't make sense, and people won't buy that back from you. You know what I mean? So. So we try to guide them both from the financial aspects, you know, so that they make good decisions, and also from the practical mindset, like what are you trying to accomplish? You know, what's important to you at the same time, you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure they're very appreciative for that guidance. So we're talking to a group of moms. So let's think kids, dogs, all sorts of, well, you guys know, you're parents. You understand what that's like. So what would you suggest to a family that is looking to upgrade their flooring that will be pretty and durable for the kids and pets? You mentioned carpet. Is there, in the bedrooms, is there any type of carpet? We'll start with that. Is there any type of carpet that a family could get and not be too worried about Kool-Aid being spilled and all of this kind of thing?
Yeah, and that's kind of where product knowledge comes into play. We work with a lot of local vendors too that have design service that's free, and they'll go through like the fiber content of a carpet, you know, so there's nylon, polyester, and there's PET, which is a nylon polyester blend. And so nylon is the strongest, most stain resistant fiber you can get. So it's going to handle kids, pets, you know, all that stuff a lot better. But the PET is like a polyester nylon blend, which is still durable, but it's a little more affordable because they mix it with polyester. And so sometimes you'll see like a Anso nylon carpet and the pile's really thin because it's expensive. And then you'll see this really thick pile of carpet and it's the same price as the thin carpet, but it's about the fiber content, and one's more expensive than the other. And so when you kind of find those things out, you know, it helps you guide your decision making, like, hey, I can't afford this, but I'll get the PET blend. So I'm getting, you know, kind of the best of both worlds, you know. So,
good advice. And would you suggest also that floating luxury, did you say luxury vinyl plank?
Luxury vinyl plank.
Also?
Yep. Yeah.
That's really popular right now.
Super popular. It's inexpensive to install it. It's about half the price of tile. So, and you're not really down dry time. So labor in the construction world is always spelled out TIME. How much time am I in your home? And that's what you're paying for. And with luxury vinyl, it takes about half the time as it does to install tile. So you pay about half the price labor-wise. So sometimes you can get a nicer product with what you're saving on the labor side with luxury vinyl. So, you know, so it's kind of a trade-off.
That's a great point. And so when my dog, so when I open my back door, my dog could be in a total deep sleep. She pops up and to run to the back door because she thinks, you know, we're going to go out to play or out to swim, and I might just be throwing away a piece of garbage. I don't know, but she's always crazy like that. So if I had that type of flooring in my house and my dog did that, is it going to even touch it?
No, because most luxury vinyl has an aluminum oxide finish. And so that is basically the most durable finish you can get. So you really have to try hard to scratch it. It's nothing like your traditional sheet vinyl where it's dented and scratched. I mean, it's compressed at thousands of pounds of pressure, which makes it super durable. And it has aluminum oxide on the finish. So your dog, even if it's 150 pounds, should be able to run from the back all the way to the front, slide, and still not scratch that floor. And the thing you have to watch with luxury vinyl is really sharp items, but I don't know how many people are playing like darts with knives on their floor. But those kind of things, you know,
I've
if you do
seen
drop
lots, James.
you know, if you do drop a knife just right, it can puncture it. You know, there's no like completely bulletproof option out there. Everything has its flaws. Tiles sometimes can chip, you know.
And
But
the grout lines, all the dirt.
the thing that we try to do is tell people the good and bad in everything, because there is good and bad in everything. So that way they feel like they're in control when they make that decision, you know. So we go through the whole, in the estimating process, the whole good and bad of everything that they ask about. And everything that we even suggest, we still talk about the pros and cons of it. So that way, when they make that decision, they feel secure.
That's awesome. And I'm sure a lot of mamas loved that advice just now because, you know, kids and dogs.
Exactly.
Exactly. And Legos are a thing.
Yeah.
Ever step on one of those? Man, I did the other day. I was running through and I'm like, stepping on a Lego.
Always.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's always the small one, like the little two, like not a big one that I can see, right? It's always the small one, or it's a see-through one or something like that. Always gets me.
Luxury vinyl doesn't help with that.
Oh, man.
You're still going to slip and fall.
Or shake your foot.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about remodeling, because, you know, the biggest question that I get as a real estate agent is, okay, I have X amount of dollars and I want to increase the value of my home. What should I do with it?
Yeah.
So you tell us, James.
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of a merge of like finding out, asking the right questions to the customer is like, what things are you doing for resale value versus what things you're doing for you? You know what I mean? Because some of that can be subjective, you know, in that way. So like, you know, you might have a lot of visitors to your home and want to update your hall bathroom, update your shower, but, you know, it's not going to be as beneficial in resale than your master bathroom being updated, you know? So, you know, it's more or less like, you know, talking about those kind of things with people, asking them those questions. Well, what are you trying to accomplish? Giving them the truth, which is that this money's going to go further in your master bathroom because you usually generally recoup 75% of your investment in a master bathroom, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's more or less asking them the questions, how they're trying to function it, how long are they planning on staying in the home? And, you know, because then resale value becomes less important to what it's functioning for them based on how long they're going to be there. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be there 12 to 15 years, well, whatever you're doing now is going to be out of date anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So, you know, I had a lady in Gilbert that we did her master bathroom, and we went to Ferguson. She picked out a $7,000 glass tub. And I told her, you know, it's pretty, I like it, but no one's going to buy that back from you. And she's like, well, I'm coming out feet first. I don't care. You know what I mean?
They never do, just so you know, they never do. Always end up selling.
You're absolutely right. You know, but I mean, I, you know, try to guide based on asking those questions, like how to best use the money, not only to get the things that are important to them and why they're doing it, and also, you know, making sure that they understand the things that are going to bring them the most value, you know. And sometimes that is bathrooms and, you know, flooring, you know, but, you know, getting rid of transitions and making the space seem larger. So sometimes I bring up to people, especially on like a 2-story home, if you have 3 different types of flooring transitioning themselves in the same space and you have to jaunt your couch at an angle just to fit it in there, you know, I said, well, let's get rid of all the transitions. People are going to love that because it's going to make the rooms appear larger than they really are.
That's
you know?
right.
And so that will help you in resale value. Plus, it'll have a huge impact on the conversion of the house. And when people walk in, it's going to have that wow factor. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely. So are you finding, you know, obviously based on their needs, are you finding you're doing bathrooms more often? Like bathrooms are
bathrooms are probably making up 70% of what we do right now. you know.
Yeah, I would think.
But they're pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, they are pretty. They are pretty. Are you doing, I get this question a lot too. Oh, well, let's take out the bathtub and make a full stand-up shower, like in the guest bathroom. And I always have my own advice on that. And it's similar to yours. Well, are you coming out feet first or not? Because if you are, then it's all about what you want. But if you're not, then you need to have a bathtub in the house. I mean, I always suggest that. But are you finding people are doing that, removing their bathtubs? Are you having that conversation? Are they going for the big, you know, party showers is what I call them, because you could fit like 10 people in them?
Yeah. I mean, that's happening quite a bit. But, you know, we always make sure that they have at least one other bathtub, you know.
Yeah.
So if they're a hall bath, I wouldn't recommend converting that to a shower if they're planning on getting rid of the garden tub in their master bath to make a big shower. And some of that also gets, you know, tricky based on, you know, when you're doing a reconfiguration, it's always the most expensive way to remodel. And so depending on where the windows are located, if there's a window right above the garden tub and they want to remove that, it's a lot more than people think, because you have texture repair, painting of the exterior, so many other things to take into consideration. Just, you know, moving a window or making a smaller window or putting a wall up where the window was. You see what I mean? And so I go through all those things, and then to see if it's even equitable to do a walk-in shower with the different issues you encountered based on the way the bathroom's constructed. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
Yep, that's a great point, because I don't know how many houses I walk into, and I see a lot of houses on a weekly basis, and that window is right above the garden tub and it comes down low. Like, you know, if I'm in the shower and I've got that, like my goodies are going to be out. We can't have that. So I totally understand. And that's how a lot of the homes here have been built. So
now that glass,
right.
that block wall or the block window, right next to the tub.
Yep, that block window.
Sometimes there's other ways to get the same, you know, results of extending the shower without spending that kind of money too. Like a lot of times there's a partial wall where the garden tub is, and it's raised. So we'll lower that partial wall, extend the glass over so it becomes a bench inside the shower. You see what I mean? And then extend it out the other way a little bit, and it feels completely different, you know? And then also getting rid of like obscure glass that was there, which basically makes it seem smaller, and put in a clear treated glass, which makes it feel more open. Plus you're showing off what you just spent money on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Love that idea, because especially for us ladies, right, Leanne? Like, have you ever been in a stand-up shower and you're like balancing on one leg so that you can hold yourself so you can shave the other leg, and then like your butt's coming out and like everything is crazy.
Yeah, those benches are nice, or having some kind of like little shelf or something that you can balance on while shaving and everything else.
Yeah, before I got on Activia with Sarah, I was doing that just to try to wash.
So you get it too. You understand. So benches are a win-win for most people. And, you know,
and a lot of people like to put them in. I see that a lot on his estimates. A lot of people go for the bench because it's not that much more. And it's just such an added value to have that space. And down the line, I mean, we're all getting older. None of us are getting younger. So it's just nice to have that there. If you do need to sit, if you have an injury or something in the future, it's just smart, you know, that's the PT in me, but yeah, you know, it's nice to have, so.
Or if you're growing a baby, you know, some of us do that. Oh my goodness. Love it. Well, that's great advice too. And I am seeing those benches here and there, you know, with remodeled bathrooms that I go into when we list property, show property, that kind of thing. So it is popular. I agree with you. Let's talk a little bit about licenses. Here in Phoenix, I come from New England. Okay, let me give you a little background. It's very strict. And here it's kind of like the wild, wild west. And when I first moved here, I was like, what is going on in this place? I've since gotten used to it. It's been a good 18 years now. But there are people all over traipsing around doing, you know, contractor work, plumbing, electricity, all this stuff without licenses. And now I don't know the exact rules because that's not my business. I rely on you guys for that. But that's no bueno, right? Like, let's talk about it.
So yeah, I usually, you know, educate people on that. I mean, technically, it's illegal to contract a job for anything over $1,200 if you don't have a license. And so, that's one aspect of it. And two, you get guys that sometimes are putting their phone number as their license number, so they're fabricating their license, right? And I've come across that many times. And so I try to educate people on how to look it up, right? So you can go to AZROC, you just Google it, you click on the Arizona Register of Contractors, contractor search, and you type in that license number, and it'll pull up their license. And if it doesn't exist, it'll pull up nothing. If it exists and it happens to be revoked, it'll say revoked.
If there's any active complaints or anything like that, it'll show all of that on there.
And it'll say current if they're in good standings. So plus it also says their origination date if they are licensed, because even in the license realm, it's not a perfect science. Guys operate outside the scope of their license all the time. So you can have somebody with a CR8 floor covering license that's licensed to tile floors, and they take on a shower project. I had a customer that had that happen. Second story shower leaked down to the kitchen, destroyed the kitchen. She went after the guy because he was licensed, and his insurance denied the claim because he operated outside the scope, because it was just licensed to tile floors, not handle plumbing or anything like that.
Right.
And so she was stuck claiming on his bond. His bond was only $3,000. And so she had to sue him in civil court for the rest of it, plus hire somebody else to come fix it. You know what I mean? So looking up the license is actually really important, because it's going to tell you all the subcategories that person's license carries, depending on the risk level of the project you're doing. If you're dealing with plumbing, electrical, things like that. So it's not even that they're licensed, are they properly licensed? Because you're right, it is the Wild West, but it's the Wild West all the way around. So you just have to be careful, and do your due diligence, and those are things I try to coach people on. Check them out. And then on top of it, if you pull up in their license, it tells you how many file complaints they have, how many disciplinary actions they have. And if you're seeing hundreds and hundreds of filed complaints, those are all customers that had to go the distance to get that contractor to stand by his work. And so it's a good indicator of what you might deal with,
Wow. And that means they went the distance. So they were, pardon my French, pissed off enough to do it.
That's right. That's right.
So these are serious things.
Right. Exactly. And they're super easy to look up. You know what I mean?
It's just a quick search.
And at least check, so that way you're not basing your decision on who you hire on their second, third, and fourth cousins' reviews.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That happens.
Yeah, because the ROC doesn't care about us, and they don't care about the customer. They just state the facts. You know what I mean? And so they're unbiased in that way, which can be a great way to kind of check out who you're dealing with.
So you could potentially, and I say potentially, you could potentially save a little money, maybe working with somebody who's not, but listen to all the risks. Like there's no recourse. So are you really saving money at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Like, what if something happens? Just in the example that you just said with the woman that had to chase this person, and the insurance got denied. So that must come out of her pocket. Like, what happens?
Yeah.
Well, that, and if it gets to civil court, I mean, it's really hard to just get your money back. I mean, not to mention the amount of anxiety you have to go through, and so, I think that, I kind of take it as my job or my mission in life is to not have to see or try to help people avoid what I see every single day, because I come behind these guys a lot of times that aren't accountable and that bail on their customers, and she gets the phone calls from them. You know what I mean? And can you help me? Can you help me? And then they're in this state of disarray, and so the same thing happened to Jessica with her house. I went there and they were almost in tears, and I felt for them, you know what I mean? And it pisses me off. And it makes me want to fight that in any way that I can, which is through educating people, how to protect themselves.
You bring up a giant point, because it's not only the monetary loss, but it's the loss of time. It's that anxiety, which is stress is a killer. Oh, hi.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's a bunch of moms. You don't care. You love it. No, we love it. There's a bunch of anxiety. There's a bunch of stress there. When you're stressed out, it's hard to work. When you're stressed out, it's hard to play. It's hard to, spend time with your family, do the things that you want to do. And who knows, like this example that you used, who knows what kind of damage water running from the ceiling into the first level, other damage it caused. You know what I mean? Could she stay in her home? Did she have to leave her home? Was there a mold situation? Like it blows my mind. It just opens up Pandora's box.
It was astronomical. I mean, what turned out to be a $30,000 remodel turned into $100,000, for her. And it's just sad,
We see it all the time, Matt, or, these guys will come and ask for 50% or 100% up front, and without doing research and realizing that's not the standard, for a contractor, especially if they're not licensed, they get that money, maybe demo your job, and then they bail. And then you're with a shower that's, non-functional and your money's gone. So now you can't afford to hire somebody else to come in and fix it. And so, it's really hard. It's hard to see that. So,
that's sad. And if you're already dealing with, kids home from school and working from home, and you only have now one bathroom that's working, more stress, right?
Yeah. And you try to come from the place when you're working with people is when you're taking their money, you're taking their time, and you don't know how much time they had to give to earn that money, but do you care about it,
Mm-hmm.
And is that the way that I try to come from that place in the way that we serve people, you never know how long it took them to save for that, but do you care,
Mm-hmm.
And but there's a lot of people out there that just see the low-hanging fruit and take advantage of people, and so we try to go out there to do our best to be a light in that way, I guess, to show people that you can still care in business and take care of people,
And still be successful. It's very admirable because I mean, I'm in business too. I run across people every day in my industry, in your industry, in other industries that are like that. They do not care. And it's really sad because it's like, we're dealing with human beings here. We're dealing with other families, and where is the kindness? Where is the, I don't know, the integrity,
Yeah, exactly. And the benefit of what it shows yourself when you actually believe the things that you say,
Right.
through your actions, you know what I mean? And then at that point, it's not really a sales pitch because it's the truth. It's the way you live, right? And nobody's perfect, but are you really accountable to the things that you say you're about? You know what I mean? And so I look at every day as an opportunity to prove that to myself. I want to prove to myself who I am through the way that I'm living my life and the way that I'm serving the people that are brought into it,
I love that. You should quote that. That was amazing. Seriously, that was amazing. You guys, this has been so fun and so informative. Can you just tell us a little bit about how can we contact you if somebody's got questions? Who should they reach out to? All that jazz.
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is advancedcustomrenovations.org, and or also our Facebook page as well. So we are very responsive on that. But there's also a submission form if you're looking for an estimate, which you can do through our website.
Or they could always call the office.
No, that's true.
So our office number is 480-235-1148. If you don't reach us, leave us a message and we'll certainly get back to you and get you scheduled for a free estimate. So
Absolutely. And I can attest, Leanne's very good at getting back. And that's something
not to.
Well, it's important because, I mean, how many even licensed people these days do, I hear it through the grapevine. I reached out to so-and-so, they never call me back. Or I left like 5 messages at this business and they're not responding. And I feel like back to the integrity thing, like even if you can't maybe service somebody right this minute, like if you're booked this week or next week, whatever, still get back to them, let them know, acknowledge them, right? They're people.
Yep. That's how I start our conversations. If someone calls, that's my first question is, how soon are you looking to have this done? If they need it done next week, we're not for them right now, but I just try to set up expectation of, hey, we're booked out this far, but trying to call them back, get them scheduled, that kind of thing. And if we don't do the scope of work, I still call them back and I try to have a resource for them to call and contact, so there's somebody else that they can, try to go to. That way I'm not just leaving them high and dry. So
And I love that you're busy, because that goes to show that you're good. And also I love that I'm busy too. And because it helps me to, each transaction I go through, each remodel you go through, you're learning something, right? You're maybe dealing with something different. It's just more knowledge that you gain that you can share with future clients, which is gold to me. I mean, I think that's
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single job. You're absolutely right. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. It was so fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. You guys have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.